At this time, I will call the February the 25th meeting of the Murray City Council together to order. I welcome everyone who's attending the meeting tonight. After we have a moment of reflection, I'm going to ask you to join Monty McHouston as he leads us in the pledge. So let's have a moment of reflection, please.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on our agenda tonight is to consider the minutes of the January the 28th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Under the mayor's report, wanted to report to you a little bit about what our city workers did last week when we had back-to-back winter events. I was really, really proud of our employees, the way they handled the storm, the way they cleared the streets 3 times. Just to give you some information, the street department spent 499 man hours, and of those 140 were overtime. They ran 24-hour shifts on the streets from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for 2 or 3 different days. Prior to that, they were working late into the evening to try to deal with the cold temperatures. So I'm really proud of the street department. We received a lot of compliments on the way they had things ready to go the next morning. The utility department, although you might not think they do a lot during the storm, they had 59 and a half hours of overtime. And I want to compliment them. While the street department was clearing the streets, the folks in the gas department and the utility department, they were clearing the city-owned property in the parking lots. In fact, we got a call from Senior Citizens Center that they needed to deliver 225 seniors their meals, and the truck was coming early the next morning to deliver the food and couldn't get in the parking lot. So our gas department guys went over there and cleared the senior citizens parking lot so the truck bringing the food could get into the parking lot and unload so the staff at Senior Citizens could deliver meals for a week to those 225 seniors. So a lot of people don't know about those types of things, but that's what happened last week. The water treatment plant, they had 14 hours of overtime. They had motors and relief valves that were damaged due to the ice and the weather, so they had to be out taking care of those. So in the wastewater recovery, they spent hours clearing the roadways at the facilities. So while the trucks were running clearing the streets, everyone in that department was trying to get things ready so our citizens could go about their business the next day. And I just want to compliment them because I've received a total of 225 14 hours of overtime, but that's okay. We had to get them ready. So kudos to the Public Works Department. I usually talk a little bit about COVID. You've been reading about it. You know, things are looking up. You know that Murray, I told you last meeting that I thought you'd be getting some news soon about somewhere closer than Paducah. I was pretty sure they were going to announce that Murray State was going to be a regional site, but I wanted to wait until they announced it. And so on one, I believe the first time, they gave about 200 plus doses, and then last Sunday, 600 plus. And it's my understanding that next Wednesday, March the 3rd, 1,200. They're going to give 1,200 vaccinations. So the people at the health department, now there's some frustration on a lot of people because our health department is going by the governor's guidelines of vaccinating people 70 and above before they go to 1C, which is 60 and above. Well, some communities evidently are going ahead and vaccinating 1Cs, because I'm getting emails and phone calls saying so-and-so went to Hopkinsville and got a shot, or to Paducah and got a shot, and we can't get that done here. I think the governor put something out that he was opening up to 1C next Monday, but today the governor sent something out that said, be patient. We got to get the 1Bs before we get the 1Cs. And so he's asking people to be patient. I know it's frustrating. People are wanting to get their shots, but more and more vaccine is on the way. Johnson & Johnson is more than likely going to be approved, so there'll be more vaccine. So I do believe that the vaccine, in cooperation with people taking it more seriously, and we're having fewer and fewer cases. I only know of one day in the last week or two where we've had double-digit cases. So I commend our people, but let's don't get complacent. You know, let's keep wearing a mask. Let's keep doing what you've been doing, and let's, you know, springtime comes, June comes, maybe things will be back real close to normal. So I can't say enough kind things about the health department and the staff at Murray State for getting their facility ready. I went over there the first day, and when you look at what's going on, the 6 tables of vaccinations, the nursing department at Murray State, all their folks there helping. The Murray State Police with the traffic, and our policemen help with traffic out on 121 and 641. So it was a total cooperation, and we're proud that our folks can get their shots here if they're patient.
Mayor,
Yes.
I got my first one Sunday.
All right. Good deal. Good deal. Hopefully more and more of our folks are getting theirs. I believe you got something. And so just wanted to bring that up today. Got some exciting news about recycling, Mr. Osborne.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Wanted to update you, as we've done at the past several meetings on recycling. We've got some really good news to report at this meeting. We have met, the mayor and I have discussed it along with Ron Albritton, and we feel like we're at a number now that we can roll the recycling out to the public. So the cans have been ordered. When they're delivered to the residences that have signed up, they will receive a letter letting them know what their pickup day is. As of, excuse me, as of right now, Ron seems to think it'll all be the same day based off the number of homes that we have on the list. So that should start sometime in March. They're just sort of kind of at the mercy of the people that are making the cans. But as soon as they get them, they're going to roll them out and we'll get started.
Questions?
How many more people do we really need to make I know we're gonna make up the difference here until it gets rolling. What would you like to see? And do we need another 100 or so?
We need 75.
Okay, great.
We've contracted for 500, so that, we've got 425. So,
Great.
One update on that, the Sierra Club has volunteered to pass out applications at the Murray State North Farm, this next recycling day, which will be Saturday, March 6th, from 8 to 12. So, Mr. Osborne and Mr. Albritton have put together an informational flyer. Murray State is aware of this. They've given us permission to have volunteers out there 2 at a time. We know that not everybody that goes through the North Farm lives in the city, but I think they can make that clear as the cars go through, and we're hoping that we might get pretty close to our 75, because I think they have maybe 300, 200 to 300 cars that go through there every month.
thank you. Thank you, Jim. So in summary, Republic has the list, they have the addresses, they're making the routes, they're waiting on the containers. As soon as those get here, they'll notify the people what day of the week they'll pick theirs up, when it'll start, and remind them of what they can put in the cans, that, so we won't have contamination when they get it to Hopkinsville. So thanks everybody who worked on that. We've been real pleased with that number. I understand some cities didn't get that kind of response. Dr. Miller, I believe the Transportation Committee met before this meeting. Could you give us a report?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Before I start with the transportation, I do want to say one thing. We have a great mayor here, and we were talking about the vaccination clinic and making it a regional event, and how folks and the university got a lot of credit in the press, but I happen to know the fellow that got the ball rolling. The point of the spear was this gentleman to my left, and I just want, the council needs to know that. He's a very modest man, and I'm not, and so I wanted to let Jim know that thanks to him, a lot of this got done. But it was a community effort, as he said. Now, the Transportation Committee met for 30 minutes. We had the folks from Kyle Pote and Chris Coombs from the Kentucky Purchase Transportation Cabinet over here to give us an update on traffic and transportation issues in Murray. The first item, we can't have a Transportation Committee without mentioning 5 points. And so it was true again tonight. The issue that was brought up by the Planning Commission and will be addressed by they're going to look at this and get back with us, is somehow, is there a way to line up College Farm Road and Chestnut Street in such a way that the left turn lanes will not, to promote the flow of traffic going north and south, east and west. So when kids come out of Callaway County High School or the Expo Center, and those that want to turn left, they're going to look at it. There's significant financial issues with doing a traffic light, and it has to do with the weight of the box. There's also electric lines, and it's one of those, one thing leads to another. It's those unintended consequences. So it looks like the most likely thing is to see if we can realign those two streets to make traffic flow better. But 5 points, once again, was the first item. We spent about 20 minutes, and did I leave anything? I think they'll get back with us and we'll see what's up. They gave us the 641 South update. They expect this initial part going to Clarks River to be finished by May, if not sooner. And they're going to start on the portion from Tom Taylor Road or thereabouts to the state line sometime in the next week or so when the weather permitting, and they estimated 2 to 3 years for the completion of the 7.5-mile segment. Main Street needs paving. It was supposed to be paved last year, and they pulled it was COVID-19, we couldn't do it. We've all had that happen to us. But it is on the priority list, and so we've tried to make that move. We've asked them to bump that up. It is on the list, and they're supposed to be doing the paving this year. We'll see if we can get it maybe accelerated a bit so that maybe by May, was that May? May, am I right? Okay.
Mid-April.
And the last item was, that we really talked about was the railroad crossing in 94. And it is a problem. We've dealt with the railroad before. It's always an issue. The city nor the state can mess with that railroad crossing, unless we want to assume any potential liability. And I'm not sure, the fact that the train only comes to Murray once a month or whatever it is, every 3 to 4 weeks, may make it harder to get it repaired or easier to get it repaired. It wasn't clear, but we're gonna work on maybe a social media or a publicity campaign to try to get that addressed. Did I leave anything out? All right, with that, Mayor, that concludes my report. No vote necessary. Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Doc.
appreciate the committee. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Miller, for that report. We're now ready to consider ordinance 2021-1806 for the second reading. Madam Clerk, would you read that?
Ordinance number 2021-1806, second reading. Ordinance enacted by the Village Subdivision of Old Forest of the City of Murray.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to approve that ordinance?
I'll move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
And a second. Is there any discussion on this ordinance before we have a roll call vote? Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bowling? Yes. Ms. Elder? Yes. Mr. Hudson? Yes. Mr. Christian?
Yes.
Dr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Ms. Ralph? Yes. Ms. Seaver? Yes.
Turn that your microphone off. Okay.
Did you get everybody? Motion passes unanimously. Next item of the business is municipal order 2021-010, appointing a member to the Board of Trustees of Maury County, Callaway County Hospital. I had sent you a list of the nominees. We have checked out their interest and why they're interested in their credentials. And after serving on the board for the last 2 years, it is my opinion that the right person for that position at this time is Jane Bright. Ms. Bright is a registered nurse who has spent many years in the health careers business, working at the hospital in her husband's office at hospice. And I found that it's good to have people on the board who are knowledgeable of what's going on at the hospital. And so it's my recommendation that you approve Jane Bright as our appointee to the Board of Trustees of the Maury Callaway County Hospital for a 4-year term expiring March 31, 2025. She'll be replacing Loretta Jobs, who did not apply for a reappointment. Okay?
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a second and a motion.
Thank you, Donnie.
Is there any discussion? All in favor of this appointment, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, Likewise, Ms. Bright is approved as the city's appointee to the Murray-Callaway County Hospital Board. Next recommendation that I have for you to confirm, I had notified you earlier that after posting the city planner's job for over a year and not finding the right person for that position, it was brought to my attention that the right person was right next door to me. A person who probably knew as much about planning as anyone up here with all their years' experience, not only in this whole facility, but in the planning department. So I talked to Donetta and asked her if she would be interested in transferring into the position of Director of Planning, and she agreed to do that if that'd be our wishes. So that left the city clerk's job open. So again, I found that the person that was highly recommended by Donetta and our administrator was already working here. Someone who's been here for several months in our customer service department and has totally impressed everyone with her work ethic and with her skills. So it's my recommendation that you approve the appointment of Kim Miles, effective March the 1st, as our new city clerk. Ms.
So
Miles is
moved.
here tonight. Would you stand, Ms. Miles? Okay, so that's my recommendation. Did I hear a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second to approve Kim Miles as the city clerk. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ms. Miles, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Good job. Thank you.
You got a tough act to follow. As long as the Murray State basketball coach doesn't show up, everything's gonna be fine. Sort of hard to read these ordinance when he walks in. Right, Donetta? I've already sent word for him to stay away from the planning department. Is there any other business to be brought before this meeting group tonight?
I'll move we adjourn, Mr. Mayor, if there's not.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn this meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. It was a good evening of meetings since 5:45. Appreciate all your hard work,
It's good to see you.
and it is good to see everyone.
It is good to see you.